Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. You see, I got my boy Stocks with Josh. He came in to help celebrate your boy's birthday. And we got my man Ron Lewis back there looking like he my shade. But anyway, hey, if you're new to this page, you can see I'm not in my normal digs, but we in Studio C. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And if you've been rolling with me for a while, hit like. Now, let's talk about the stock market. We're just going to have a rough discussion about the stock market overall, and then we're going to have a discussion about crypto, right? We're going to spend 5 minutes on stocks. We could see that the markets were green today. Here's the camera right there. The market actually ended green today. We had data that came out. You know what? Talk about the data right quick that came out.
Okay, so we got retail sales, and it was not good. It was far below expectation.
Next.
It came in, I think, 0.2, and the expectation was a bump up to 0.6. And it became the narrative that bad news could be good news because it would give the Fed some power to consider giving us more rate cuts in 2025. So, but here's the thing. I'm looking carefully, guys, at the volume in the market. And even though the markets are moving up, they're moving up in what's referred to as a melt up, okay? Which a melt up is when there's tentative buying. And it's that Wall Street doesn't really want to sell this market, Larry.
Right.
So they don't feel the need to unload what they've got. They're not ready to panic sell below a 10 or 11% correction. But if they get more bad data, they will. And so because of it, the market's being bought up slowly. It's a melt up, and we're moving towards Wednesday. We got the FOMC.
Yep.
And we're going to get another round of data, and it's going to tell the market whether or not they should buy. We could move from a melt up to an actual rally, or to the next leg down is just as possible.
So we got the Fed decision on Wednesday, right? I'm gonna shut this because the train is coming. I'll open it back up. So we got the Fed decision on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
And now that we had good news is bad news, and bad news is good news. Now we have the Fed maybe increasing the amount of interest rate cuts depending on the market.
Correct.
The market is very skittish right now. So the president is now taking the place of the Fed. And remember, every time the Fed talked, the market moved. Now every time the president talks, the market moves. And stocks and crypto. We know this. And for those of you in Money Moves, I was showing them how we started buying QQQ, VUG, those type of deals,
Yep.
and FundStrat's new ETF. So we started buying
Nice.
those in correction, negative 10%, negative 13%. And we see a payday going on right now.
Yeah, can I comment on that?
Yes, please.
So I've talked a couple times about how Goldman Sachs highlighted to their clients that in a typical 10 to 14% correction in the market,
Yep.
that the majority of time when it didn't fall into a recession, and the majority of time it doesn't fall into a recession.
Mm-hmm.
So when it doesn't fall into to recession, you're really looking at the potential of the market being up 13% within 6 to 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so think about that. If we actually were down 14%
Mm-hmm.
and we moved up an additional 13% from the all-time high
Mm-hmm.
in 2025,
Right.
now you're talking about a near 30% move,
Exactly.
which most of Wall Street doesn't want to get left out on. So
Yep.
that's why they're not selling too hard right now, is because there's just not the data that would warrant selling at this point. But
Exactly.
there's not enough data to justify loading in just yet, because there's quite a few negative dynamics going on, and we know that it's an unresolved tariff conflict, and Doge is probably the biggest single
Yep.
threat to the economy.
Right.
And I know that people can hear that maybe incorrectly.
And there's another layer.
What's that, Larry?
The deportation that
Yep,
affects
yep,
jobs.
it does.
Right now, we know this is not about. We all agree we need safe borders. We all agree that a lot of people are
We
here.
need to drain the swamp of bad spending.
Exactly. And we know that there's job cuts. Now, I got a number, and that number is 500 billion. I believe that there's a $500 billion of waste in our government. That's what I believe. Okay. I don't necessarily agree with every way that they're going about it, but in everybody knows that it needs to happen. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you why. Because I told you yesterday some of the things that's going on.
And then these just come down to whether the maths. And the fact is, if the math, and what it is the GDP has only been growing because of government spending. And so when you get rid of the government spending and you actually start cutting government spending, those things could be great long term, but in the short term, it could drive us into a recession.
Remember that.
Yeah.
So you remember, he just cut me off you got one guy. If I said one word in 10 minutes, he'd be like, Larry, you cut Josh off.
You're doing a fine job hosting this show, sir.
Hey, listen, I want you to cut in there anytime you feel ready, because there's so much information we want to give you guys. There's money to be made during this time, is what my point is. The tariffs were pushing you down. Instead of you focusing on just the politics of it all, don't miss the opportunity to buy, right, Josh?
Yeah, most people are going to miss out on this. Larry and I are excited about this opportunity, right? It doesn't help our long-term portfolios, but we're excited about putting more money to work at lower prices.
That's it.
You know, Costco. I want to throw that out as a potential pick for people to begin to do their own research on and looking at, because that's more of a defensive play. And anytime, I mean, I'm a chart guy. Okay, so I know that chart. I have a photographic memory. I can see the chart right now.
Yeah.
Anytime Costco has ever hit oversold on the RSI on the daily time frame, anytime, it was the right time to buy Costco. We're not talking about this year, or we're talking about 2022. We're talking about 2020. We're talking about 2008, 2009, 2016, 2017. Anytime it got oversold, there was money to be made buying it.
But it's Costco. It ain't sexy like Palantir.
I'm gonna tell you, them profits gonna be real.
That's what exactly. So Josh said something I want to correct, because I want you to understand the way he meant it. He said it does not. What's happening now, we don't like it long term. We don't like it short term, but long term we actually love it.
That's what I mean.
Exactly,
right there.
Because it gives us the right buying. So I did something I would say some would say is controversial. Right?
Tell me about it.
I put stop losses on a portion, and it was a big portion of my Nvidia and my Tesla. But guess what I did it at?
Where?
Right just when it first started to dip. So all of this, like 3/4 of this way down, I was out in profit.
Nice.
Right? In profit. Freed up a lot of cash. Like 150,000. Actually, I freed up about 175,000 worth of cash.
Nice.
And then I bought QQQ, VUG, VTI, but mostly QQQ. So in one way, I was selling big tech, Tesla, Nvidia.
Yep.
And in another way, I was buying more exposure to the ETF, right?
Yeah.
And you understand that strategy.
Yep.
For my long term, I was under leveraged on my ETFs, right? I was over leveraged big tech. I was too heavy. And I wanted to diversify that. Now, going into QQQ, now I'm diversified a couple of hundred stocks, right? Rather than so heavy in on one or two. And I'm cool with that, because that's what I want. When I finally retire and start to draw out, I want more money into the ETFs. 100%. And I was like Keenan Grace said, you hear about the S&P going up, you know Keenan Grace is rich.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just, and I love that. Positioning is everything. What you got to say about that?
Well, no, I agree. I think that right now there's a level of uncertainty. If I had to guess at what would happen this week, I think you'll find this interesting. Even if the Fed doesn't say what the market wants him to say, for stocks to rally hard going into the end of the week. What I think we might have seen, and this will be a very interesting test, okay? It goes back to something you guys hear me talk about from a technical standpoint all the time. We made these lows. Now, if those lows get maintained, we've come up off of them. If we get some bad news and we get another spike down, if we make a higher low,
boom,
and we start drifting up again,
you know where the bottom is.
It tells me that we are in the bottoming process, and we've got plenty more room to the upside. I don't think we have a catalyst to rip higher, but I don't think we have a catalyst to sell off. If we end up having bad news this week and getting a higher low, and then we begin to drift up again, you're going to see some intensified buying. Now, and then one more thing, Larry, if you don't mind. I've made this point a number of times that when you look back in some previous times when we've been in a similar correction, right? I talked about the SPY, Larry. The last time, if you examine 2022, which we know we got a pretty rough year, 2022.
Yeah, especially October.
3 times before we went into that full-blown bear market. 3 times the market went back up after it had crossed beneath the 200-day moving average. It crossed back up and it tested the same range 3 times before failing.
Reject.
And he said, guys, listen, we fell off the top. We haven't tested above the 200 yet, even one time.
That's so true.
So just be aware that even if we have ahead of us a huge bear market, the market doesn't, unless it's COVID, right? The market doesn't just go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. You know, I mean, that was a very rare event.
Right.
And even then, you know what? I mean, we'll let you guys know if we see a V-shaped COVID event happening. But the data's not there for that either. More than likely, if the market's going to go into any form of a recession or bear market, it's going to adequately and completely test and get rejected before that selling begins. Because, Larry, the market makers, these huge companies, are not going to just sell their entire portfolio without confirmation.
No.
And in 2022, they got 3 confirmations. We don't have 1. So just keep that in mind, guys.
And you know, Monday I made a video, and you and I hadn't talked a week ago Monday, and I said, guys, I don't know where the bottom is, but I like this bottom. And this was Monday, and I released this video, and then like an hour later you released a video, and we were basically saying the same thing. I said, I told you guys exactly what I was buying. I'm like, I like it here. And then right after that, the S&P went into correction territory. Right. And I was like, and then when I heard your video, I was like, okay, I'm not the only one that's like, because it takes a lot of guts when things are going down to say,
it is hard.
All right, here's where I'm buying, and I'm buying heavy, right? And we've been talking about the 200-day too, and so we're right on point. At some point, you got to start buying. Right?
So besides, I was going to say, Larry, besides Costco, which I think is a little bit more of a defensive play, besides that, I'm going to throw out something. I'm curious. I'm going to use this because I want to know your opinion on it.
Okay.
The quantum computing stocks, I noticed that a couple of them got back above the 200 already.
We killing it. Because in the money moves, guess what we've been talking about?
Tell me about it.
Quantum computing. And guess what when we bought them? The day they was beat down the most. If you in money moves, go, just leave me. Just say, yep, YEP.
Not everybody knows what Money Moves is.
Money Moves is my stock crypto club, okay? It's like a Patreon stock. I call it a stock crypto club. It's going to be the top link below in this one, right? And we got a lot of cool things in teaching. And it's not a normal, it's not a traditional Patreon where it's just, you know, you have all of these great things. I'm really focused now on long-term positioning and setting people up for true wealth, you know, that type of deal. And then I still give my plays, but I'd be honest with you guys, I haven't been doing any option plays in the last couple of weeks because right now, with the market going down, and of course you could be doing puts, you're killing it, and then the market reversals. But what I'm trying to do is help people to understand how to do it, when to spot it, and how to do it themselves. That's what we're going to be doing. But right now, I want that foundation set. I want them to be having some QQ. I want them to have some ETFs, right? And I don't want them to just be on a sugar high. But in money moves on quantum computing stock, we've been killing it. We bought it down doggone near the bottom, down near the bottom, and then that's what I was trying to say, down, and it came out like that. So then when it went up, we almost so close to the top. And now we got back in when it got beat down the most, because one of the things that I am good at is seeing established patterns. I can remember patterns from the recession of 2009, let alone 2008, let alone COVID. let alone October of 2022. So when we get in these tough times, that's where I learned how to trade. You know, I drove around in a beater, so I know how to, when I got a new car, changing the oil with nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this is what I want to leave you guys with. Man, we 15 minutes in already.
It's easy.
Josh, you did that, man. Josh, it's Josh's fault this video is this long. But listen, good people, I want you to know this. Listen, this is what I stand strong on. My belief on, and I've spent a lot of money. I believe that one day, I don't believe that this is going to go on for 3 years, right? I've been asked that from family members. I do believe that these tariffs are like a spring being pushed down, pushed down, pushed down, and then one day it's going to be released. I do believe within the same 30-day period that the war will be ending. There will be some peace brokering deals done between Zelensky and Putin. And you guys know what's happening with that. And I do believe that the tariffs, because none of the 4 countries, like I said, can afford these tariffs. None of the 4 countries. Nobody want to play that game. Nobody
wants to do it long.
Nobody wants to do it long.
Yeah.
Not the people, not the presidents of either countries. This is a bargaining tool. That's what it is. But then when that deal is worked out, I believe that the market with low rates, which is what the president wants, and he's putting pressure on the Fed. When this all works out,
Larry, they can create those low rates.
Exactly.
Because enough people unemployed, the Fed has to pivot because he's got 2 mandates. He's got inflation and unemployment. So they can make it happen. He can get that refinancing.
You mean they're making
it happen.
All right.
And this is going to be a fast drop and a fast recovery.
We just telling y'all the truth. They are making it happen. The president kept saying, I want him to lower interest rates. Oh, it's a shame that the Fed didn't. You're like, okay, we're going to get those lower rates.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
That's it. That's it. Y'all see the bond yields dropping. The rates are dropping.
They have $7 billion to refinance in 6 months. Which actually is good for us to know.
Yep.
Because it has to be done in 6 months.
Yep.
We know that between now and some point in the third quarter of this year.
Yep.
This will all be behind us.
It will all be behind us. And at some point, you're going to say, I should have been buying here. I should have been buying here.
We're going to say Keenan got richer.
And Larry did too this time.
The S&P 500 is at an all-time high.
Yep. And Larry got richer. Yeah. So I'm with Keenan now. Because I put a boatload of money. And then if there's I need one more dip, to be honest with you. Let them go ahead and talk about tariffs. See, this is how you get even instead of getting emotionally wrapped up. Get even, right? Position yourself. I wish he would talk about another tariff. I got still got more cash sitting on the sideline waiting for him to say it. And then I'm just going to go in, boom. And just
so the main thing I want you guys to take away from this, because I think it's easy to get caught up in the dialogue and still be uncertain. I don't see a 2022 recession. I don't. People would have to screw up at a mega level for that to happen. I see us having a lower low from here, to be honest with you. But I don't know that we'll get that until we do some back testing. Yeah. So, that's a little bit where I'm at. Whereas we got about a 10.5 to 11% on the S&P. We might get a full 14%, but I don't know that we will go down and get that additional 4% until we go back up and possibly back test. So I would say this: don't leave out of here thinking that we are fresh into the bull rally.
Oh yeah, no,
we're nowhere near that.
No, and I said that. I told my audience that it ain't over. It's just not over. So it's so. His Scott Besson, they were asking him, did you know about the ones over the weekend? He's like, he never answered the question. He just kept talking. The answer is no. Yes. Trump will wake up in the middle of the night, get on Truth Social, blah, 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 I'm gonna 10x the tariffs.
Yep.
It's bargaining. That's all it is. And you and I can't control it, and nothing we can do can predict exactly what's gonna happen, because you can have the greatest fundamentals and you can have the greatest technical analysis, and he can come out and say one thing and it just changes everything. Right now, the market is news driven.
But keep in mind this, don't be afraid to look at companies right now, because even though we could have this additional leg down, first of all, I believe that we are going to test a little higher. Then we could have another leg down, but not everything is going to go lower.
That's true. Some things have bottomed out already.
Things, and you know, companies like NVIDIA that were very successful in 2023 and 2024, I think they'll be very successful in 2025. So you're going to find that it'll surprise you that some of those companies may not, if you wait too long to get into them, they might have a higher low and you don't get that lower low. But you might get it in other things.
So Josh, should I put all my money
Tesla
in,
will contribute
or should I
to
dollar cost average it?
Larry, Tesla will contribute to the lower low.
It
always has a lower low.
And you better fully understand that 51% of Teslas are manufactured where, Josh?
Well, you got China, you got Mexico.
Exactly. 51 is in China.
That's right. That's right.
And you got to understand this. So this is how I make money on Tesla. Right now, it's been a short. Though I haven't been shorting a lot of it, but I triggered that stop. I triggered that loss in profit for a reason, knowing that the tree huggers are the ones that actually created Tesla. And it was actually most of the Dems buying Tesla, and the reps couldn't stand Tesla nor Elon just 4 or 5 years ago. We have short-term memories.
Yeah.
Now he flips sides, so to speak, and he funds the now president, right? And then he gets a boost from the reps.
Yep.
It's crazy. The first thing that was on the news this morning, all these Tesla dealers across the country are being vandalized, right? And then now the stock are getting slapped because of Doge and what they're doing. Neither the Dems nor the reps like to see people losing their jobs. Nobody like to see people losing their jobs. But though we all want smaller government, it's just the brutal way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
And so that out of a lot of things, and then, you know, deliveries are dropping, right? Orders are dropping, deliveries are dropping, but that's hitting Tesla. And the last thing is, when there's a fight going on, you want the sergeant to be around. You want him at least on the ship. He can't be out, you know, vacationing. Those of us from Chicago, you bet not. If you're the man in Chicago, you bet not go on vacation during the winter and we get a storm. You done. And so that's the biggest thing that's weighing on Doge.
Well, and I'll tell you, Tesla. Listen, it's a great time to be looking at Tesla. I liked one of my followers dubbed it Stressla.
That's a good one.
She was right about that. Stressla is quite a company to be owning. But I'll tell you this, they're going to pivot. They're going to pivot towards robots, and the whole narrative's going to change, and the stock's going to go back above, in my opinion, it's going to go back above 500. And I believe that could happen in 2026. So, you know, I would say that that's the way this company is. It's got much wider price swings, but I believe that opportunity is still there. I think, to be honest, if you bought Tesla today, this is just my opinion. If you bought it today, I believe you'd make money in the coming days. Does that mean that we're at the lowest price? No.
I would say, because it's my challenge, my people.
Go ahead, sir.
I would say don't put all your money in today.
Absolutely
I would
not.
say dollar cost average today. As a matter of fact, I would say start your dollar cost averaging journey today. What would you say to that?
I would agree, because I think that even though, let's say in the worst case scenario, we actually went to 240, right? I'm sorry, like if we just fell below 240, right, back into 236, that might be where we're at today. I don't remember the chart off the top of my head. My point is that I think that even if we were to come down to 203, which is one of my support levels. Okay. The fact is, if you dollar cost this range, I said it before, and I was 100% accurate back when I called it, when it was at 140, and even when it was at 180 and 200. I said, guys, in 2024, we will see a $300 Tesla. And I significantly fell short of predicting a $480 Tesla.
What did it close at today?
Today, let me check.
Just know that if you said, you know what Josh said makes sense, and you bought it and it dipped even lower, what he's saying to you is all you got to do is wait and not sell it.
I think this is a very reasonable range. A lot of people were foolish. It closed at 238.
Okay.
A lot of people were foolishly buying this at 450 to 480. I predicted when it was 450 that we would. Now you might hear this and think, well, that's not a big deal. Back when it was 450, I said, guys, there's not an ounce of support on this until 350. Now
that's a huge deal.
Yeah, $100 below that price at that time.
Yeah.
Right. And so similarly, it's a very powerful prediction for me to say anything between 200 and 250, in my opinion. To me, I believe it's going to be a profitable position. That's as long as you're not in a hurry to sell.
That part again.
As long as you're willing to hold that for a couple years.
There you go.
And I think honestly, right now, this is what always happens. It's happening to NVIDIA right in front of us. This incredible company that only ran and everybody wanted to own, and now everybody's gotten scared off of it when it's really barely down off of its all-time high.
And you know what? From not just CNBC, but some Yahoo, that's all I heard was negative. If you notice, all the medias get negative on a stock when it's trending down.
Always.
This is the worst.
And the
It's
CEO,
run its course.
Larry, the CEO said he saw, and I think I liked when he said this.
Yeah.
He said, I see profit margin re-accelerating in the third quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very bold statement to make.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. And then we'd be back in the boat where people would be scrambling. It'd be up above around $160. So I don't personally think you can go too wrong buying NVIDIA under 120.
Well, let me tell people, I'm going to end with quantum computing. Next time we come together, you owe me a stock. I mean, a crypto
video.
We're going to do a crypto. It's going to be all crypto.
Next couple days,
guys.
Next
couple of days. So listen to this: quantum computing, QUBT, Rigetti, QBTS, and the warrants. We killing it with the warrants, Josh.
I bet.
Right? For those of you in the money moves,
that's your
killing
thing,
it.
Man. I
we
learned
killing
warrants
it with
from Larry, just so you guys know.
We killing it with the warrants. I'm going to tell you guys when to buy. When you see, and this is I'll make it easy for those. You don't have to know charts or nothing. When you see QQQ go down in the correction territory, which means that these penny stock get beat down, that's when I buy. If there's a new tariff threat and they fall by 15, 18, 20%, and you read and you see that these quantum computing stock got beat down, that's when you start to buy. Because they dip down the most, but they have days. One of them was up 28% today.
Yeah.
One was up like 59% today. And so when they get beat down the most, that's when you buy. So have some dry powder ready. That way, when the bad news comes, you celebrating while everybody else is going, oh.
Yeah, and I think you want to have a little quantum computing.
Yes,
you want to have some. You want to have some in your portfolio.
Just a little bit. Yeah. And don't buy when it goes up. When it goes up 15, 18, 20, 30%, that's when you don't buy.
Yeah, I predicted QUBT. I can't. I thought we were on a video.
It was my play, bro.
Yeah, no, I predicted QUBT when it was $17 to $18. I predicted
it was after I had already called it.
You brought it to me.
Yeah.
I predicted that it would come back and hit $6.
He did.
And it did that.
He did. But you caught flack for that too.
Oh yeah, tons of it.
Josh, you're a dream killer. Yeah. Wow, it's never coming back down there.
But it hit that here recently, and now we've had a nice little pop.
It took a little longer than you thought.
Yeah.
But it did.
Yeah, guys, we keep it simple. It's just because that's where the support was.
Yeah.
When things begin to go the opposite direction, they go back to a place where buyers who had previously bought it would be reinterested in buying it again. Mm-hmm. These stocks move. 6 is where all the support was, and this good news is that it did bounce there, and where I think we ended about $8, $8 to $9 today.
You got it.
Yeah, and I think that QUBT, once we get through this craziness in the market, at bare minimum is a $12 stock.
Exactly.
Now that's my view, but keep in mind I use stop losses and I control position size. So don't get bullish.
I got $15 on it.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's going to be. But when it got beat down the other day, when it was just extreme oversold, like they're going to zero, that's when I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it's hard to buy.
Yep.
But that's when you have to buy.
I did a 30-minute video. My people ain't used to no 30-minute video. It's Josh's fault, y'all. Hey, if y'all like Josh being on this show and with your boy, I know y'all do. Just say yes. All right. We love you guys. Make sure you check out the links below. We're gonna build. This is for me and my followers and Money Moves. This is a year to build.
Absolutely.
To get better, reposition, get better. We're gonna get better with the charting, and we're going to absolutely kill it.
Man, there's a lot of opportunity here. It's like I said, I was talking about Costco earlier.
Yeah.
Get that thing oversold. It's so rare, man. There's opportunity right now, and you don't have to worry about perfect timing.
What's your buy price one more time on Costco?
I have to relook at the chart.
Okay.
To be honest with you, we came within $20 of my ideal perfect buy price, and I regret not really getting more. And so I'm watching that one the most.
Do you think it's in the nibble zone right now?
It is. It is in the nibble zone today. Yeah.
So look at it today. And if you see this tomorrow, look at it when it was on Monday.
If I got a red day, I'll tell you this on Costco. If I get one more good red day, I'm going to be buying in some substantial size.
Okay.
Now, I will say this, Larry, that I bought Tesla and NVIDIA in big size on that Monday.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I could not trade for a month, and I would have filled my daily expectations.
And when we're over, I'm going to show I got an automatic set on it.
I say that not to brag. I say that to say that you don't always have to trade every single day. If you have the right stocks in mind and you acquire them at the right moments, you can set yourself up for huge wins. I think that's what's ahead of us.
I'm gonna leave it right there, good people. You heard him. Rewind this video. A lot of gems, not just general talk, but specific stock, when and how to buy them. Okay, that's it. We don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. We don't know if they got a new tariff out right now. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what the other countries are tariffing against us right now, retaliatory tariffs. But at least you got a plan. But I hope you plan on winning. All right, live, love, laugh, and learn. Check those links out below.
Peace and blessings.